Stretching Gabriel, Arsenal rock up to 3-point lane and do exactly what the name suggests. We take home the 3 points. So many things to break down, like some performances that I looked at today and thought, you know what, you played really well. But there was also some performances that I actually want to get your guys' opinions on. You might have a difference of opinion. I want to see how you saw it. Also, definitely a couple of talking points. Saka, injury. We're going to speak about Sterling. Before we do though, just very quickly, if you could, just do me a favour. Hit like on this video. So first of all, I just want to ask you guys, who was your man of the match? Because like I said, there was a couple of performances today that I looked at and I thought you were so good. So before I give you my choice, I just want to hear in the comment section, who were your guys' man of the match? So the first kind of talking point I want to speak about is one that I looked at and I thought we cannot afford to have another player out injured. Bukayo Saka getting subbed off with what seems to be an injury. Now, the only plus I would say is he wasn't carried off. He wasn't stretchered off. He wasn't in tears like Martin Odegaard we saw not long ago. But it's definitely something Mikel Arteta looked worried about on the sideline. He couldn't believe it. I just want to ask you guys, do you think this was just a precautionary? Bring him off. He's put in a massive shift and give the young lad a chance. Or do you think this is something more serious? I hope it's not that, because we need Bukayo Saka. Look, let's get into the game. Look, as soon as I saw the bench, I was like, this is not the strongest bench in the world. We still had a couple of good options, 2-3 good options, but we had 5 kids on the bench, including Ethan Nwaneri, who, fair enough, is now a first-team player. But I don't know, I just looked at that bench and thought we are definitely not light on the subs bench. And that's why the kind of Saka injury just worried me even more, because we got Man City coming up. We can't afford to have Saka out, Odegaard out, and yeah, it's just crazy. I don't know. Right, look, let's talk about the beginning of the game. Tottenham started strong. Arsenal seemed so shaky, and that was kind of summed up early on by Raya having to make 2 massive saves. Raya now playing with a confidence that so many of us have been waiting for. We've been waiting for these big saves, and now it seems like David Raya is able to pull them out in a consistent basis. He had to, especially with, like I said, it was sloppy passing. Ben White kind of made a sloppy pass, got intercepted, and someone was in, and Raya had to make a big save. It was just sloppy very early on. I say Tottenham definitely started dominating the game early on. And what kind of interested me, though, was Arsenal's defensive shape was kind of set up to a way that I haven't really seen before. It was kind of, you obviously got your back 4, you had your 2 CDMs, you had your 2 midfield, 2 wingers just in front, and then you had the 2 strikers. Like, it was like a 4-2-2-2 defensive shape. Something I don't know if you guys noticed it as well, but I just thought it was different. I wonder if that's just because of the players we got, or if that was kind of just a game-by-game basis. We looked at Tottenham, what they do well, and Mikel Arteta decided to use that shape. And then you get the Martinelli chance. If there was ever going to be a chance to open up this game fairly early on, it was that Martinelli chance. He should have done better. Look, I've seen a lot of people slating Martinelli online, and I've got to say, I don't really think he played that bad. I think he was unlucky to come off. If we didn't have a player like Raheem Sterling on the bench, who, you know, a lot of people are waiting to see. Like, a lot of people wanted to see Raheem Sterling make his appearance. I think if this was in 5-6 games time, I don't think Martinelli would have been taken off. Yes, he lacked that final end product that he has, but in terms of defensively, we definitely saw when Raheem Sterling came on, we lacked that defensive structure that Martinelli offers. He was so good defensively. Like, even in like the 60th, 70th minute, the way he was charging back to win them balls back was very, very impressive. I actually saw something in Martinelli's performance today that gives me hope that he can keep improving, that he will grow into this season. This just isn't going to be Martinelli dying out now. Let me know your guys' thoughts on it, because like I said, I've seen a few people actually hating on Martinelli. I don't know if I've seen it different to you guys, but I actually thought Martinelli done okay. Yes, he should have scored that chance. Yes, he took the shot way too early. He should have either, like, I don't know, just moved closer to the goal or try a different shot type. Use your laces in that area. You can't try and finesse as soon as you enter the box from that difference. He went for the kind of Thierry Henry, and it didn't really work. After that, something else I noticed. Jorginho, I think he struggled today, guys. Let me know your thoughts on it, but I think Jorginho really, really struggled. He was dispossessed a couple of times. And on one of the instances, it kind of flashed me back to last season where Jorginho was dispossessed. He kind of kept losing the ball, and the recovery runs, like when he was watching it on TV, Jorginho was far slower in his recovery than everybody else. A lot of people were worried going into this game that we got Partey and Jorginho because they lack legs. But I can tell you, Thomas Partey was keeping up with the Tottenham runners. Jorginho, it almost seemed like, you know how adults run with kids and they're just leaving them behind? It was kind of like that sort of thing. Like Jorginho lacked the ability to get back. Like he couldn't keep up with the pace of the game. Now, look, I'm not going to give my opinion on if Jorginho needs to be dropped for the next game or anything like that, because we might be in a position where we need to play him. But in my opinion, Jorginho struggled in this game. But I would like to know your guys' thoughts on it. And then after that, Arsenal did grow into the game. Sort of just before half-time, I think Van der Ven and Kulusevski got booked. And we saw at that point, Arsenal were pressing higher. They was kind of trying to do what they usually do. Win the ball higher up. Try and play. There was a lot of times when Arsenal did win the ball back and Arteta was on the sidelines slowing it down. He doesn't really fancy Arsenal as a counter-attack team. He likes it to be methodical. He likes Arsenal to build up, wait for their chances, be patient. And it's something we definitely saw. Also, but you saw in the game that we definitely lacked options centrally. Was it because we had that double pivot? We had two CDMs in the game. I don't know. I think just Martin Odegaard offers so much to this team. Like, it's almost like you forget the defensive work he does because he's so good going forward. But he strikes such a good balance, Martin Odegaard. And I just think we lacked the ability to play through centrally. But it's not just Arsenal. I think actually Tottenham even struggled to get the ball forward centrally as well. Their best success was coming when they went out wide. So in terms of middle of the park, I didn't actually it didn't seem to me like a game where this Arsenal was being dominated or a certain team lost the midfield battle. It just seemed to me like no team was able to really get a grip of this midfield. No team was able to play most of their good stuff centrally. Like a lot of the good stuff in this game did come from the wide players, and that's just something I noticed. And then you got the Gabriel goal. Saka, that ball in. Gabriel, so smart to push. And it couldn't have happened to a nicer person than Romero to get absolutely schooled. Gabriel gave him a little, not a foul, just like a little nudge, get away from me, and he rose unbelievably well. And you could see the passion on Gabriel, and it was just it was pandemonium. I was loving it. The passion you can feel from all the players, how much it meant. We knew how much of a big game this was. Like, we couldn't afford to drop points. We dropped points in the last game. We've got injuries, and this was the sign of champions. Like, you go to Tottenham and you win. Like, we beat Aston Villa early on in the season at their place, something we wasn't able to do last season. We was able to beat Tottenham at their place last season. So then you can't go and beat Villa and then go and draw to Tottenham or lose to Tottenham, because then you've kind of righted one of your wrongs, but then you've lost to Tottenham anyway. So you kind of cancelled it out. So it was just so good to get this result. Like I said, and then it was a nervous 10 minutes. That last 10 minutes was nervy. I kind of looked up at the clock at 1 minute. It was 83 minutes. I looked back up at the clock. It was 88 minutes and Arsenal hadn't touched the ball. And it was always going to end that way. But just Arsenal, just staying strict to their structure. Timber, in the second half, I thought he was exceptional, because early in the first half, I looked at Timber's performance and I thought, ooh, this isn't the player I thought he was. And look, I certainly didn't make my mind up on jurrien Timber, but kind of he was acting a bit petulant at times. He was being a bit, I don't know, you could tell he was frustrated. He was losing the ball. His recovery runs wasn't as good as I thought they would be. But then I saw the Timber that I wanted to see, and we did see in pre-season in the second half. Very, very good. I wanted to have a quick talk about Raheem Sterling to get your guys' thoughts on. Well, he didn't really have a chance to play forward. That's why it's way too early to judge Raheem Sterling. Like, there will be games where you'll be able to judge him way more. He come on for 15 minutes? So he didn't have a chance to impact the game going forward. But like I said, when he came on, we definitely saw a drop back in terms of that left wing position. Now, it's something I asked you guys. Is Raheem Sterling good defensively? And it was kind of like a 50-50. Some people were saying, oh, he's very good defensively. There's nothing to worry about. And some people were saying, do you know what? He's actually really good. Like he's good. He's not good. And I couldn't make up my mind. Like, watching him today, he's not as good defensively as Gabriel Martinelli. Like, there was a few actions where Tottenham were on the break. And like I said, Raheem Sterling only played 15 minutes and he wasn't sprinting back. So I hope that's something that Mikel Arteta can drill into him. It's fair enough if he's not as good as a tackler as Martinelli. Like, when Martinelli's trying to win the ball back, he aggressively goes for it. Raheem Sterling seems more like he kind of feints. He waits for them to make the move and then he will try and nick it. He doesn't really go aggressively for the ball, and that's okay. You're not always going to get that with a left winger. Raheem Sterling is definitely better going forward. But I mean, look, it's way too early to judge Raheem Sterling, but that's just something I noticed and I wanted to get your guys' opinion on. Is that something that you worry about with Raheem Sterling? Do Arsenal lack that defensive kind of option, I guess? When we have Martinelli or Saka, those guys are not only good going forward, but they offer us that defensive stability as well. Let me know your guys' thoughts on the game. Like I said, let me know your man of the match. Mine was absolutely Gabriel, not just because of the goal, but he was a rock for the whole game. And what annoyed me was the Sky commentators were saying, oh, Solanke's getting the better of Gabriel and Saliba early on in this game. And I thought, no, he ain't. He's not had a sniff. He had one chance against Gabriel where, okay, maybe in that one moment, Gabriel got wrong-sided. Like, he kind of had Solanke, and then Solanke got round the other side of him for a header. Apart from that, the two centre-backs were exceptional, winning the ball high up, calling the line perfectly. Gabriel being the vocal leader like he always is. He was definitely deserving of that man of the match award, in my opinion. Like I said, let me know your guys' thoughts on the game. Let me know your thoughts on Sterling. Let me know your thoughts on the Saka injury. And let me know, like I said, let me know your thoughts in general on who you thought performed the best. Thanks so much to everyone for watching and listening. Before you go, like I said, if you could just do me a favour, hit like on this video, just like it and subscribe, and I'll speak to you all in tomorrow's video. Gooners, have a good day.